Okay. So today we are going to discuss about MySQL. So MySQL is an RDBMS, relational database management system. So using this RDBMS package, you can store data, you can retrieve data. In general, you maintain the data. So database is basically collection of data. It's basically collection of data. So we are going to maintain data with the help of this MySQL DBMS, database management system. The database is nothing but a well-defined collection of data. Okay, so this is an RDBMS called as Relational Database Management System. In this, we store data in the form of tables. Okay, so to avoid redundancy, duplication of data, we link actually one table with another table. So while you create table, while you insert data, you understand how they are. So basically, MySQL is what? It's a relational database management system. This is actually, free, not for commercial use. For commercial use also it is free, but to some extent only. Normally, if you go with the enterprise edition, for that we need to pay. Okay, but we are using community edition MySQL, we need not pay anything. Okay, and MySQL is what? It's basically a service. It is going to work as a service on the Windows operating system. Even on the Linux, Unix, Macintosh, whatever machine it is, on that it's going to be like a service. So it's going to be like service. Service means it runs in the background. Okay, to connect to that particular MySQL database, we require clients. So using client, we can get connected to MySQL. So where exactly MySQL, how it is as a service, I can show you. I just go to control panel in the Windows. I'm going to control panel. In the control panel, here I go with the system and security. Then here in this case, administrative tools, under this, you can find it. Here, one of the things is services. We have services. In these services, we find it as a service. So somewhere we have MySQL, that is going to be service. MySQL 80 this is. So this is basically MySQL 8.0 version. It is installed on the Windows operating system. It is running as a Windows service. That means it is running just in the background. Okay, it's just running in the background. Okay, so this is basically a service. To connect to that, we require clients. So using client, we can connect to MySQL server. So this is an application, computer application, which is running just in the background. It does not have any user interface. Okay, but it's going to listen on certain port number. Port is 3306. It is, listening on the 3306. When you develop a Python application, on what port number in the local host it is listening, on 5000 port number it is listening. So in the same manner, it is going to listen on this particular port number. So whenever you send a request, so through that particular port, it is going to receive and it's going to respond to the request. Whatever request, that means whatever command you send, if it understands command, it's going to respond. But how to connect with that, how to interact with that? So for that, we require SQL. Here clients are required. So you can have two different ways of client in this case. One is going to be here, MySQL client. I can go to MySQL client. This is nothing but command prompt. So here I type MySQL. It is installed in my system. So command line client I have here. Okay, so not this one. I open MySQL. This is going to be a command line client. MySQL shell I take in this case. Again, it's something wrong. I go with the MySQL here. And in this case, okay, I want to run as an administrator. Now I'm getting a command line print in this case. So I need to give the password. While installing MySQL, whatever password you give, that you need to enter here. And while installing, you may give a password. That password you should not forget. Okay. So in this case, what is happening now? We got actually MySQL prompt. So this is one of the ways to interact with the MySQL. So this is a command line client. You need to give commands in this case here. Okay. So for this purpose, you need to remember commands, particularly SQL commands you need to remember. So SQL is what basically structured query language. Using that SQL commands, you can interact with the MySQL database. SQL can work not only with the MySQL, using that you can work even with the, it can work with the SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL. There are different types of SQL databases. To interact with them, you require SQL commands, SQL commands. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Okay, it's called as Structured Query Language. Okay, now I want to see what are the database available in this. Okay, what are the database available in this? I can type in that case like this, show databases. So this is a command. With the help of this, I can find here what are the different databases available. Again, what is database? Database is collection of tables. Okay, in a MySQL database, it's not only tables, you have many other objects. Okay, table is an object, view is an object, procedure an object, function is an object, view is an object, constraint is an object. So like that, you have different types of objects in the database. So in general, MySQL database it's basically flat file. Okay, it's a flat file only that is saved on the disk, but it contains actually, different types of objects inside this. So those objects can be, the basic things are in the tables first of all. So tables roughly you can compare with Excel worksheet, in that you have rows and columns in the same manner. In the MySQL table, we store data in the form of rows and columns. But before store data in any table, you need to define the structure for the table. You may have few columns. What type of data you are going to keep in the column, you need to define. Then after that, data can be added to that. Okay. So this database is nothing but here collection of number of objects, tables, views, constraints, procedures, functions, so triggers. Like this, you have different types of objects. All you are going to save in the database. Okay, so here all these are nothing but predefined databases for us. All these are going to be predefined types of databases for us. They are available here. Suppose I want to create some new database. I want to create here a new database. So for that purpose, I can invoke a command like this, create database, followed by, I want to give some name here. I want to name this as here FullStack. Database name is going to be in this case FullStack. I can write here create database, followed by here FullStack. At the end, I should have a semicolon. That is going to be ending the command. So whenever you want to end a command, you need to put a semicolon. In the SQL, we follow this. So create database FullStack. Now when I press enter key, it's going to create. You're getting a message, query okay, one row affected. So in this case, what is happening? It is just creating a database. Such commands are called as basically action, such query. That's nothing but a query. So such queries are called as action queries. Action queries, they don't return any value or they don't return any rows, but they perform some action like creating a database, creating a table, or updating a table, or dropping a table, okay, or inserting data, or updating data, okay, so or deleting data. Such things can be called as action commands. Action in the SQL commands, you have one is action commands, other one is query commands, you can say. One is action query, other one is select query. So using select query, we retrieve data from the database tables. You have two types of commands, two types of queries, I can say. One is action query, second thing is select query. So using action query, you perform certain actions like creating database or dropping database. Drop means deleting, okay, or updating database. Similarly, creating a table, updating, altering a table, update, not update, also alter, even update also you can say, altering table or updating table or dropping a table or renaming a table. Such things are called as, in that case, they are action commands. They are not going to retrieve any rows. Okay, such queries are called as action queries. But when you go with the select query, in that case, we retrieve data. It's going to retrieve the rows. Okay, it's going to retrieve the rows. Now, what happened here? I have created a new database called as FullStack. Now, again, if I see here in this list, now I can find that. So right now it may not be available in this. If you go up and see, you cannot find here FullStack. In this, you cannot find that particular database. But now if I write here, if I give the command show databases, it is going to show the database is available. Somewhere now you should find here the FullStack. Anywhere can you find here FullStack? It is available here. It's called as now FullStack. So database is now available. So where these databases are available in my local system. In my instance now, these are available for me. Okay. So in my system, all these databases are created. Okay. My database basically is in the local host. It is in the local host. Okay. So in the local host, actually, all these databases are available. Even you can have them somewhere in the remote computer as well. So in such case, using IP address, we can access. So this is basically where it is in my local system. That's why we call it as local host. Okay, now using this command line client, we call this as command line client. Now I am showing all the databases. So first thing is what here, we have used show databases. With the help of that, whatever database are available, we are getting. Similarly, here create database command, we are able to create a database. Okay, we have created a database called FullStack. There are no tables right now in that, but just it is only a database we create, empty database right now. Okay, so it may have some, there may be certain things automatically which are created by the MySQL because there are certain meta objects are required. So they get created automatically, but we haven't created any tables from the user side. So this is what exactly it is, a create database FullStack. That database is created for us. Now we need to create, in that case, certain tables, certain columns we need to create. Now here I need to select this. Right now, what is the database? No database is selected. In order to select database, I need to go with the, here in this case, I write it as FullStack. That means what current database is for us? FullStack. I'm opening that database change message I'm getting. Now in this case, what are the tables available? I want to see. So I can go here with the command show tables. What tables it's going to show for me? Whatever tables are defined in the FullStack, it's going to show. FullStack is the database name, and in that what tables are available, I'm trying to see. There are no tables available in the FullStack database. Okay, in such case, what I do, I go with some other database. Right now with the FullStack, there are no tables. I want to go with the SW2L. Okay, so what I should do in such cases, I need to go with the use command followed by SW2L. Now that database gets opened. Once the database is opened, what are the tables available in that? I can see here. Show tables, when I give this command, you can find here few tables. There is one example, there is one user assigned roles, then there is one user roles, there is user types and users. So these tables are available in the given SW2L. It's what exactly? A database. Okay, but we created FullStack database. We opened that means we selected the database. When we try to see what are the tables available in that, it is showing empty set. There are no tables because we just created a database. We haven't added any table. But this is what already created one. That means I created some time back. By default in the MySQL, we don't have this. So I have created this SW2L. I have opened it. Then after that, I'm seeing the tables inside this. So it is showing here how many tables total? 5 tables it's showing. Example is one table, user assigned roles is another table, user roles is one more table, user types is another table, users is one more type of table. Like this, I have here total 5 tables in this. Okay, now I want to see the structure of the users. So what are the columns available in that? I want to see. So for that purpose, what I do, I can go with the DSC command followed by I type here users. In such case, it can show the structure of the table for me. So this is the structure. In this, I have this many columns. There is a username, date of registration, user type ID, then password, is retired, user ID, and name. These are called as columns. You can compare them with Excel sheet columns. You have a username, date of registration, user type ID, password, is retired, user ID, and name. So these are the columns available. And to the right side of this, what it's saying, what type of data it is. When you work with JavaScript, you find different types of data like strings you find, numbers you find. In the same way, username, it is varchar 100. That means it is a string type of data. Variable in the character, it is nothing but here string type of data. Null meaning is what? When value is missing, in that case, it is called as null. So when you when you are inserting data, if it is not available, it will accept. Null means yes, you have like this. So default value also null like this. We understand later on all those constraints. But here I'm showing the columns available in the users table. So this is what describing the structure of the table. Users is the table. What are the columns available in that? What I'm doing here, I am listing here using the DESC command. So DESC users, when I say, it is going to show all the columns available in the given table. What is the table name? Users is the table name. So these are about how many columns? 7 columns you have here. All the columns are getting listed along with their data types here. Varchar we have, int we have. Okay, like this, they are getting listed. Now, suppose what is the data available in this, I want to see. In such case, what I do, I can go with the select command. Okay, then what I do here, star from table name I can give. It is basically users table. In such case, what happens? It is going to retrieve data for me here. It is retrieving data in this manner. So username, then date of registration, user type ID, then password. Okay, is retired, user ID, it is email ID, name. Like this, it is showing the data for me in this case. Okay, whenever you design any database table, the password must not be visible here like this. Okay, password always must be encrypted. Okay, so if somebody is going through your table, even if they see, they should not understand, that must be always encrypted. Just for example's sake, I have created. Otherwise, you need to encrypt that particular password. Okay, so this should contain actually encrypted password. So when somebody is going through that, the person should not be in a position to understand what the password is exactly. Okay, so I have total how many? 7 columns. All the 7 columns are getting listed when I give a command, select star from users. So this I am accessing from the command prompt. This is called as here command prompt, and this is called as a client. It is not actually MySQL server. It is only client. With the help of that, you get connected. For example, you take a web page. Web page is client, and who is your server? Server may be Node.js or Python, that is server. So using web page, you get connected to server. From there, you retrieve data and show in the browser. In the same manner, this is going to be a client for us. So using this client, you get connected to database. You retrieve data, or you insert data, or you update data. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Which are allowed basically. So then you are going to interact with the server here. You are interacting with the server. And the MySQL, you can interact using network protocols. We have certain protocols called as network protocols. With the help of that, you can connect. Okay, suppose in the same computer, this is my computer, actually local computer. In this only have my SQL server, MySQL server as well as client. So in such cases, I don't require any internet connectivity. Okay, I don't require networking. Using a concept called shared memory. We call it a shared memory. This comes under basically IPC. So IPC stands for inter-process communication. Inter-process communication, 2 different processes, they can actually interact with each other. So using that concept here, I'm interacting. My client is here what? It's a process, and my server is another process. Okay, we know what is exactly process. When you launch an application, in that case, it is nothing but a process. Suppose you launch Word application. Word application, where it is available? On the disk it is available. On the disk we install it. Okay, whenever you are running that, what happens? A process gets created. That is going to be available in the memory. So instantiation of the application, launching of application is called as a process. It's called as a process. In the same manner, what is happening? You have a MySQL client and MySQL server. Both of they are going to be processes. One process is going to interact with the another process. If you give some command here, it should go to the server and server is going to act upon the command. Then it may return, it may respond to that. If it's action query, what it will do, whatever it has to do, like an action like insertion or updation or deletion or creation, it can do. Or if it's a select query, in that case, what happens? It's going to return rows. In that manner, it is going to be working. In that manner, this is going to work. So therefore, MySQL is what? It's a client for us. Okay. And your SQL server, your MySQL database is going to be your server, and this is going to be client. MySQL is a client. This is called as here a command line client. So using command line, you are going to work on this particular thing. Okay, so this is basically a command line. With the help of that, you are getting connected. Okay, now next thing is, this is basically a command line client. But instead of that, you can go with a GUI, graphical user interface. We can use GUI. So that is going to be more comfortable because here you need to remember commands. Okay, so but when you work with Unix kind of systems, GUI may not be available. You need to work from the command line. So you need to know the commands also, like SQL commands. SQL is divided into 5 subtypes, sub languages. In the DDL you have, DML we have, DCL we have, TCL, and one more thing is DQL. DDL stands for data definition language, like create database, create table, that comes under DDL. Similarly, you have DML. DML stands for data manipulation. So data manipulation means adding data to the table, not retrieval. So you may be updating data or you may be deleting data. They can be called as DML commands, data manipulation language it is. Similarly, we have here DQL or DRL also we say. So DQL stands for data query language. You can query the database. So from there you can be getting data. That's called as data query language. And even we can say it as a DRL, data retrieval language, because you're retrieving data from the given database. Okay, along with that, you have two more things. One is DCL. DCL is called as data control language. Okay, data control means you may have tables. All the users of the database may not be allowed to access all the data. Okay, similarly, some of the users may have permission only to retrieve data. They may not have any permission to perform some action queries like creating a table or dropping a table. Such permissions are not given for users. So that kind of thing you can control with the help of the DCL. That means granting permissions, revoking permissions, all the things you can do with the help of the DCL commands, data control language. So that is mostly done by the database administrator. Okay, database programmer may not do much, but database administrator may be doing it. Okay, then one more type of command is going to be TCL, transaction control language. So in the case of the transaction control language, what happens is you maintain the database integrity. That follows basically ACID properties. ACID meaning is here atomicity, consistency, isolation. One more thing is what here? Durability. Like this, you have some ACID properties. With the help of that, what you maintain, actually you maintain the integrity of the data. So that is basically TCL commands, transaction control language commands. All these are subcommands of the SQL. Then what is SQL? SQL is nothing but a language. With the help of that, you interact with the RDBMS, Relational Database Management Systems. To interact with the RDBMS, we require SQL, Structured Query Language. So in that you have 5 sub-languages: DDL, DML, DCL, TCL. One more thing is DQL or DRL. With the help of that, you can be interacting with the database for different purposes. So they can be action queries or they can be, other thing is what? Select queries. Okay, so SQL is basically a standard from the ANSI, American National Standards Institute. They have a standard for structured query language. Okay, so it's a standard for the structured query language. So with the help of that, you interact with the database. So since database is my system, local system, I may use just shared memory. So with the help of the IPC, inter-process communication, I can do it. Okay. Similarly, you may have a network, local area network. It's LAN. You are not in a geographically different location. In the same building, probably you are running an office. So in that office, you have a server and you have many clients. Okay. In such cases, you have to use a protocol called as named pipes. In the server, you need to enable named pipes protocol. With the help of that, what happens? Other computers can access your server for MySQL. not for other things. For MySQL, I mean, your MySQL database can be accessed if you have named pipes protocol enabled in your, I mean, MySQL database. It's a network protocol. Similarly, suppose your database is in a geographically different location, somewhere in the, suppose you are in the US, somewhere in the California, you have your database, and you are working from somewhere Philadelphia or from New York, okay, or from say a different location. So in such case, what happens? It is through internet you have to connect. In such case, you need to enable TCP/IP protocol. Okay, so these are called as network protocols. In such cases, you can work. So this is basically a client server kind of thing. You have a client and you have a server. So then only you can access it. So this is what here MySQL is a client. With the help of that, I can access the database here. Okay, so this is a local database available in my system, and my local database instance name is what here? MySQL EIT. And you can have number of instances in the given computer. Instance is what you take MySQL setup, you install. So when you install, you are giving a name that is called as actually instance. So this is exactly what MySQL EIT is, the instance. Once again, if I install, I should give a different name. That can be another instance. So why do we require multiple instances? Suppose you are maintaining a server, okay, number of companies, they don't maintain database there. They want to use your computer for saving their data, but they want to have their own databases. So in such case, for each and every client, you can be installing different instance. You have different instances for different types of users. User in the sense, different companies you can think. So if everything is kept in the same database, what happens? So here, what is happening? There is no protection for their private data. So it may be, suppose all the databases of different users, if you keep in same instance, so anyone can access. Whoever have actually access to the data, I mean the instance, they can access. So in order to avoid that one, for every company, we have to maintain different database. So that's called an instance. That's why it allows to install multiple instances. MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, PostgreSQL, for all these you can have actually multiple instances in the given computer. So instance meaning is what here? When you install, it is called as an instance. Whenever you install actually MySQL in your system, that can be called as instance. So in this case, what is the name of the instance? So this is MySQL EIT is the instance name. It's the name of the instance, MySQL EIT. So now this is running. When it's running, actually, I can invoke commands. Okay, but I stop in this case now. I want to stop MySQL running already in the in the background. It's running. Now what I do here, I stop it. So what will happen with this? This is going to be getting stopped. The instance is not running now. Now if I give command, what happens? See here. So once again, I write here, select star from what I write here. So from users, I write. In this case, what happens? It cannot retrieve any data. What it's saying here, error 2013. It is lost connection to MySQL server during query. No connection. Trying to reconnect, it's saying. So what is happening in this case? The server is not available. Because of that, it's unable to connect. Why it is like that? Because the instance is not running here. I have stopped the instance. Okay, whenever you want to stop instance, you can stop it. So what happened in this case? The instance is not running. So therefore, I can't access that. If instance is running, it can hear commands. When there is no instance available, how can I connect? I cannot connect. Now what I do here, I go and start the instance here. I start the instance. So what will happen now if I give command? In this case, this can be retrieving data for me now. Okay, so here, in this manner I give here, now you are getting data. Because this time the instance is available for us. Instance is running. So therefore we can connect to this and we can be retrieving data from the server. So therefore server is different here, client is different. So with the client, we get connected to database, and through the client, we can be invoking various commands. So this is called as here command line client. Okay, now I close the command line client here. I can show you GUI client, graphical user interface client. So these kind of clients, command line client or GUI client, when you are a database developer, in such case, it's required for you. Okay, whenever you are a database programmer, in such cases, actually, you require that. But an end user does not require. Okay, I mean, for end user, it will not be available also. Suppose your web application is running. Okay, somebody else is logging into your web application. They are saving some data. So in that case, they don't know anything about the SQL command. They don't know whether it's MySQL or PostgreSQL, what type of database also they don't know. Still, they are going to save data. Through your program, it's going to be saving data. So your program can be client in such cases. Okay, your program is going to be client. Through your program, you are connecting to the server and you are saving data, you are retrieving data, whatever operations you are performing. So through your program, you can be doing it. So your program is also going to be client and your database server is going to be MySQL DB. So that way, your application also can be a client for that. Now, what I do here, I can go with the MySQL Workbench. I have here MySQL Workbench 8.0 CE. So this is called as Community Edition. Always download on the Community Edition because it's free. You can use it. So command line client is what? It's MySQL client. You have command line client you can use, or you can use here Workbench. MySQL Workbench, but this is what here. It's a GUI based, graphical user interface based it is. Okay, so now I launch this here. I'm launching here. Now what is happening? It is showing the instance name. Local instance MySQL EIT. The username is root here. And what port number this is on 3306. On this port number, I'm going to here. It is saying, so server, we are connecting to MySQL EIT and it's going to listen on the port number 330. So why we call this as local host? It's because whenever you are working in the same system, it's called a local host. Okay, even when you run your some Python application, what do you type there? Localhost : 5000 you give. So in that case, it's running in the local host, in the local computer. So this is called as here local host. Okay, this is called as here local host because it's in the same computer. But suppose if I like this, I open here in this case, what I do, I open pythonanywhere.com. Okay, I'm going to open this pythonanywhere.com. So in such case, what happens? See here. So this is basically what it is actually with my name. I have created an account I have with the pythonanywhere.com. Now, if I go to the databases, I can click on the databases. So it is having here two different databases. One is MySQL, other one is PostgreSQL. So PostgreSQL is, I need to pay a lot of money. So free, this is MySQL, I'm using it. So what is the database host address in this case? It is sridhar.mysql.pythonanywhereservices.com. So this is the database instance name for me. It is the database instance name for me. And what is the database name in that case? Sridhar $default is the database name for me in this case. This is the name of the database. Whereas this is what here? Server name. Sridhar.mysql.pythonanywhere-services.com. This is the name of the server, like we have in the local host. In this system, you have here local host. Okay, it is something similar to that. In the Python Anywhere, you have here sridhar.mysql.pythonanywhere-services.com is the database host address for me. So there actually MySQL is available. Username is this one. I may have to access using a password. Then what is the database name? This is the name of the database. Okay, database instance name is different. Database is different. So database instance is basically server name. Okay, your physical server name. There you have installed it. This is going to be database. In this particular instance, you can have multiple databases. It is one of them. So database name is what here? Sridhar $default is the database name, but this is the instance name as you have in the local host. So in the localhost 3306 you have. So this is the name of the instance name. Now when I click on this, it's going to open. So it will ask for some password. I enter here password in this way. I enter password. So with this now I can connect to the local host. When I connect to local host, all these are the database available. In the left side, you can see. In the left side, you can see all these are nothing but various databases you have. So it is what exactly different databases I have in this case. Okay, it is listing all these databases. Even if you see right now, we created some front end, FullStack. Is FullStack available in this? See here, it is available here. We created through the command line client, but through the GUI, we are accessing it. So what is the name of the database here? It's FullStack. Database name is FullStack here. Okay, so right now, currently selected one is what? Right now, it has selected actually the database is, in this case, it is actually this one. Telangana journal dollar default. So this is the database right now. It is selected. So in this case, I can retrieve data from that. But I can change the database here by clicking on this either twice, or I can go to this one. I can type here something like use command. I can type here use, followed by here I put it as all layer DB. Like this I can put here, then I can execute. So select this here, click on this execute. Now what is happening? All layer DB got selected. Okay, now in this, what are the tables available? You can see here. Show tables I can have in this manner. Now, when I select and execute this, it will show whatever tables are available in that. So it is showing so many tables in this case here. Like it has actually account heads, agents, balances, banks. Okay, like this, it is showing so much data, so many tables in this case. All these are related to some real estate application. It is showing for you all the data in that case. So currently selected database is what here? AllIDB is a currently selected database. Okay, what are these objects? See here, tables are going to be objects. All these are various tables available in this case. Similarly, you have here stored procedures. Okay, one stored procedure is available. Its name is what here? USP get all. Okay, this is going to be here a stored procedure name. With the help of that, I can retrieve data. It is called as USP get all. It is a procedure name. With the help of that procedure name, I can be retrieving data. Okay, so this is a procedure. Procedure is something like a program. You can think it as a program. It's getting saved within the database. Okay, we write many functions when you work with JavaScript, or when you work with TypeScript, or when you work with Python or C#, you write actually many functions. So it is something similar to function, but it's part of actually database. It's not going to be existing separately in a physical file. Rather, it's going to be getting saved within the database. So that's why we call it as a stored procedure or stored function. Procedure is basically function only. A function or procedure same, but procedures does not return, a procedure does not return value, a function can return value. Okay, procedure cannot be part of the select statement, whereas a function can be part of the select statement. So whenever you talk about database procedures and functions, this is the difference you have. A procedure cannot be part of the select statement, or it cannot be part of in any query, whereas a function can be part of the queries. Okay, so that way you have a difference between a procedure and function in the databases. Okay, otherwise this procedure is as good as a normal function in the C language or JavaScript or in TypeScript, or you take Python. They are something like that only, but these are not going to be, here existing independently. They are part of the database. In the database only, they are going to be available for us. Okay, now next step is what? We have to create a table to hold data. Okay, we need to create tables. But to create table, basically what we require, first of all, what type of data we need to put in that, we need to decide. Okay, so for that purpose, we have to know about the data types. When we know data types, in that case, you can actually define a table. Okay, now I want to do something like this. So this is a full stack application, full stack database we created. But instead of that, I want to go here with some retail DB. I want to here, if there is no retail DB, in that case, I can create that particular thing. So do you have retailer DBs available? But still one more thing we can take. Okay, so this is here. I want to create like create database. Then I want to write this as here. With this, I'm going to create another database called as store DB, stores DB. So in this, I'm going to store information, any store that is some shop you can think. Okay, so it is some shop actually. Like I'm going to create a database table in that related to the business, we have information. So here what happened? A database is created for me. Now if you refresh here, you can find even that. So if you come here, if you refresh here, you can find the store DB as well now in this. You come down here and you can find here somewhere or ST. So it is what exactly stores DB is available. It is available. Now I need to open the, table here. Use what I write here, stores DB. With this, I can open it. Right now, this will be getting selected for me. So once this is selected, what I can do, I can create some tables in this. Fine. So I want to, I have a store in that I sell different types of products, you think. Okay, it is something like actually some mega store, something like that, different types of products. I may have textiles, I may have electronic gadgets and kitchenware I may have in that. Okay, so beauty products I may have in that, and I may have shoes and footwear also I have in that. Different types of products, healthcare related products I have. Everything is available, even vegetables are available, fruits are available. So it is something like store. Okay, something like mega store, you can think it. So I want to maintain all those things in that case. First of all, you need to maintain the information of the products. That is going to be very important. Information of the products. But further, you need to first of all categorize the products. You need to categorize the products. So for that purpose, now we need to create here a table. Okay, we are going to create now a table. So in that, first of all, we are going to maintain the categories. Various categories we can create here. So go this way now, create table command, and give command like this. So I want to prefix for every table a TBL. TBL meaning is what here? It's a table. Like that, I would like to prefix here. Then I want to put here, in this case, categories. Or just I put here category. Okay, I want to put this category. In this, you can keep actually so many categories. I'm going to create a table, followed by category. So this is what type of command basically? It is a action query. And this is a DDL command. With the help of this, I am defining here a table. I'm going to define a table. Then in this case, I require here column names. First column is what here? We need to have in this case a cat ID or category ID. Okay, so this is called as here category ID. Every category should have a ID. So there should be a number associated with every category. Remembering names is somewhat difficult. So therefore, what we do, we can go with some numbers in that case. Numbering is always simple when compared with the names. Because whenever you type names, sometimes there can be mistakes. Recently, what happened, we are developing for some application for some related to journalists. So somebody was entering for Andhra Jyoti, THI. Somebody was entering actually THY. So spelling mistakes can occur. So that's why what we do, we go with the numbers always. So category ID I take, then in this case, I want to go with a type of data. What type of data this is here? I want to take it as integer. I want to take this as integer. The next thing is going to be, after defining table, I would like to tell what are the different types of data available. So first I create a sample table and show you. Category ID, INT, then followed by, this is what integer type of data I can have in this. But this category ID should be coming automatically for us. I don't want to enter. I don't enter for this. Automatically it should add. So that's why what I say here, auto increment. There is one feature called auto increment. Automatically this can be getting incremented. By default, it's going to be starting with 1. Then when you add first row, it is going to be 1. When you add next row, for this column, it's going to be 2. It's going to be 3. Like this, automatically, this can be getting incremented. So this is called as your category ID, INT, auto increment. I have taken like this. Okay, then next thing is what? This should not be getting duplicated. Okay, if you have categories, no two categories should have same ID. Okay, and every category, first of all, should be having an ID, and no two categories should have same ID. So if you have same ID for more than one category, that's going to be confusion. So that's why what we need to do, we need to make this as a primary key. Primary key meaning is what here? This cannot be duplicated. At the same time, this cannot be null. If you try to enter a duplicate value, what happens? It will not take. So it's going to maintain the integrity of the database. So therefore, we make it as primary key in this case. Okay, we want to make this as primary key. Next thing is what here? We go here with a cat name. Cat name meaning is what here? Category name. This can be text type of data. So I want to go here and type varchar 100. All category names may not be equal in length. Okay, some may be having only 10 characters, some may have 50 characters, some may have 4 characters. So based on that, the data must be getting entered. So that's why what I have done here, varchar 100 I have taken. Maximum up to 100 characters you can enter. Okay, so minimum is going to be something like 1 in this case. Maximum is going to be 100 characters. If you enter 4 characters, it's going to use only 4 bytes of space. So if you enter 20 characters, it's going to take 20 bytes of space. So that's why we call it as here varchar, variable length character. This is. It is going to be variable length string. So depending on the character and string are interchangeable. Okay, so depending on the data you entered, it's going to use that many number of bytes. So cat name is what in this case? It is a string type of data I have created. Okay, the next thing is what here? we have here a cat level. Okay, we have a cat level. This is called as here int. So in this case, I'll go with the default value as 0. I can take this as here 0. So cat level means you have certain levels, top level categories. Textiles you have, for example, in the case of the textiles, it is going to be top level category. Suppose you have something like toys. In the case of toys, that is going to be top level category. So when it comes to toys, you may have electronic toys or some other mechanical toys kind of thing you have. So in such case, what happens? So under toys only you get actually electronic toys. So therefore, the electronic toys category level is going to be 1, but for basically for the toys level is going to be 0. That means what? They are root level categories. You can think it as we are using here cat level int default 0, like that I take. Then followed by we have here, I can write like this here, supercat id. Okay, I write here supercat id in this manner. This is going to be again int. Okay, for example, you have a toys, there's the main category. Under that, you want to have here subcategory like electronic toys. Electronic toys may take an ID, category ID. So you need to put under that particular thing as main category toys. Suppose it is 1. So in that case, for the for this electronic toys, supercat ID is going to be 1, and this may be taking 2. When I insert data at the time, you understand it. Okay, so supercat ID int I have taken. Then in this manner, I am defining the table. And one more thing is what here, you can go with remarks here, followed by varchar some 100 you put. Okay, you can put some remark if you want to put. But here I need to impose some constraint. I need to link supercat ID with the category ID. I want to import here supercategory ID with the main category ID. For that purpose, I am going to use here foreign key. So I write here a constraint. Okay, I can write constraint here, then followed by fk, I write here foreign key. This is called as here cat ID. Then here, what I do, I can write this as here foreign key. So it is going to be referring some other table like this. So foreign key I write here. In this case, what column exactly? It's going to be foreign key. In this case, supercat ID is going to be foreign key. I need to put here. Then next thing is what here, which other table is getting referred. In this case, I'm linking the same table itself. So that's why what I write here, references, I'm going to write here, followed by table name is here what? DDL category. I can write like this. And in this, I can keep the column name called as category ID. Okay, spelling must be correct in this case, TEGORY, category ID. So like this is going to be here a foreign key. In this manner, I can create a table. Okay, I can create a table. When I select and execute this one, if there are any errors in the syntax, in that case, it will not be created. So what happens in such cases? It will give error. So what it's saying in this case, it's showing some error for me. In the bottom, it is showing some error. So let me. So it says in this case, okay, category ID, int, auto increment, primary key I have written. Then cat name varchar 100, cat level int default 0 I have taken. Okay, similarly supercat ID int. Then remarks varchar 100 I have taken, followed by constraint fk cat ID foreign key supercat ID references TBL category. This is what exactly spelling is wrong in this case. That is the reason it's giving error here. So it should be TEGORY. Okay, now this is going to work properly. Now a table will be created for us. This is called as here TBL category. Now the table, one table is created for us. Now if I go here and type here, this is what show, followed by here stores DB. In such case, what happens? It is going to list actually this particular table for me. Sorry, show tables, not store DB. I need to write it as show tables. Like this, I am trying to see the tables available in this. It has to list in this case whatever tables are available. It is showing here now what exactly TBL category, which is just now created. I have just now created, so it is available in this case. Okay, so what happened in this case now? It is showing for me the table name. This is what exactly TBL category. This is the name of the table available for us. Okay, right now we have seen that. Now, if you refresh, you can find in this case, okay, if you refresh this here, you can find a new table called as DDL category. Now, even you can describe the structure of the table for us. You go with this DSC, followed by here it is TBL category. You put like this, it's going to describe the table. That means whatever columns I define, you can see them in this now. Okay, you can execute this, it's showing in this case. First thing is what? Category ID, type of data is integer. Null means what? No, because this is the primary key. And key is what here? PRI. And it's using here auto increment. Automatically, it can enter values for it. By default, it starts with 1. Then subsequent row is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. It enters data. Next thing is what here? Cat name. It's nothing but varchar. When you go with the cat level, so what it is taking in this case? Integer type of data. Then what is the default value? 0, it's going to take. So if you go with the supercat ID, int, yes, you have mul. That means what? So it is going to be having a foreign key. It is getting linked with the same table, of course, with the cat ID. So this is basically called as here foreign key relationship. Then remarks is going to be in this case varchar 100, and this is what here null value it can accept. So in this way, what is happening here? I create a table. Okay, then I'm showing whether it is available in the database or not. Second thing is what I'm describing here, the required table. So this is something similar to Excel worksheet. Okay, in the Excel worksheet, how you have rows and columns, in the same manner, you have this. Okay, any questions so far on this? Anybody has any questions, please?
I do have a question, Sridhar.
Yes, please.
I didn't understand the foreign key concept here. Could you please explain once again in the line 6?
I'll explain that foreign key, but just I've shown you how to create a table first of all. Okay, now I'm coming to that point. So suppose here I'm trying to show some, I open Excel sheet. Instead of this, I open here MS Excel. In the MS Excel, I try to show. Okay, so this is basically a sheet which is nothing but categories. It's a category sheet. So this is going to be a category sheet. In this, you can put categories. What columns we had in that case? It is here cat ID. Okay, then this is going to be here cat name. It is cat name. Next thing is what here? Cat level. With these columns. One more thing is here what? Supercat ID for us. Super underscore cat underscore ID. Like this we have. Okay, so let me resize the column so you can see it much better. Okay, I'm resizing this in this manner we have. First thing is what? You go to a store. First of all, we go with the top level categories. Very first thing what I take, automatically this is going to be getting added for us. Cat name. Okay, I'm going with the cat name. So in this case, I want to name it as electronics, I say. This is exactly what it is, a category. That means electronic items you can think, or you can put it as electronic items. Okay, its cat ID is how much? Automatically it takes 1. Cat level is how much for this? It is going to be 0. Up to this you understood? Why it is 0? Because above the electronic items, you don't have anything. This is a top level category. Okay, on whenever you go to that particular store, what are the items they are available in this? When you say electronic items, mechanical items, or say footwear. So top level this is. Inside this, you may have so many other things. But initially, the cat level is at 0. Category level is 0. That means above this, you don't have any further super categories. Okay, above that, you don't have any super category. That's why we take cat level as 0. And super cat ID is going to be null. Because above this, you don't have any category. That's why we say it as null in this case. Null means what? Missing value. You don't put anything in this case. Now, we come with the 2. So in such case, what happens? You just go with the TVs. Example, you say, it is going to be TVs. So TV is what? As we know, it's an electronic item. It's an electronic item. What is the category level for this? It is going to be 1. Because it is coming under electronic items. It is coming under basically electronic items. This is TVs. We can say automatically 2 is getting entered in this case. in whatever order you enter rows, in the same order 2, 3, 4, they are getting inserted in this case. Okay, cat level is how much in this case? It is 0. It is 1 for this. And super cat ID is how much? It's going to be 1 because this is the electronic item, so ID. Now I go with one more item here. It is 3. We say here computers. For example, you go with the computers. So in the case of computers, again cat level for this is what? It is also 1 only. And what is the super cat ID for this? This is going to be 1. Okay, now under this one, I go with the desktop computers. I want to name it as desktop computers. So in such cases, what happens? What is the cat level for this? Cat level is going to be 2. Okay, and whatever its category ID, in this case, this is super cat ID is going to be 3 for this. Similarly, we have here 5. So this is exactly what? It's a laptop now. I want to say this as laptops. So in such cases, what is the cat level for this? It's going to be 2. And for this is super cat ID is how much here? 3, like this we take. So laptops, they belong to computers. Computers, they belong to which one? Electronic items. Correct? If you take laptop, its super category is what? Computers. Under computers only, further we are categorizing it as desktop computers and laptops. Okay. Further, computers, they are categorized under what exactly? Under electronic items. Okay, under electronic items. But electronic items is top level category. Above that, you don't have any other category. But when it comes to computers, so what is the level for this? It's 1. What is its super cat ID? It is going to be 1 only in this case. For TVs also it's 1. For computers also it's 1. Because these are going to be siblings in that case. Electronic items is going to be top level category. In that next category is what here? TVs as well as computers. Okay. But when it comes to desktop computers and laptops, these are part of actually computers again. So desktop computers super category is what exactly? Computers. And for laptops, this is what exactly? Computers. Okay, that means this particular column must be, belonging to any of these IDs here. Okay, to any of these IDs, it must be belonging. So this is called as here foreign key. It is referring here base category ID. So what is the base category for the laptops? It is computers. For computers, what is the base category? It's electronic items. So like this, we are going to link. This is called as, that's why foreign key. So you are relating basically one table with another table. I try to show one more example for that to understand. Now I come to this table here, then I define here a product. I want to go with a product in that case. So what I do here, I go with a create table command, then followed by here DDL product. I want to create here a DDL product. Then here I'll say this as product ID. Okay, this is going to be some product ID. And this will be, in this case, this also I take as integer. Okay, then this is also auto increment. Automatically, this must be getting incremented. Okay, it is going to be auto increment. Then next thing is what here? This is the primary key once again. So that means this cannot be null. At the same time, it should have some unique value. Primary key I put here. Then followed by here, product ID I have here. Next thing is what? In this case, what I can put? I can put here description. So description, this is going to be varchar, some 100 I put here. You can describe a product. Then next thing is what here? Price you can put. I want to put it as price, then followed by here, it is going to be like a number. You can take, it is numeric. You can take this. Numeric means up to 18 digits. It can have actually 18 decimal place you can have after the number. So 18, 2 like that, it's going to take numeric value. Okay, so next thing is what here? Okay, default also we can put in this case. So default in this case, how much I put here? Minimum, suppose you have some minimum is going to be, depends on the category, but every product should be having some minimum value. So I go here with the default and try to put some 100. So in this store, a simple product also should be having here some 100 rupees. Like that you can think. How much I'm putting in this case? I'm putting it as here 100. Default value is 100 here. When you add a product, minimum 100 is required. So that way I made it as default in that case. I just move this into next line. That would be better. So this is price, numeric default, 100 I have taken. Followed by, now here, I'll go here, then followed by, in this case, one more column is required for me. It is cat ID. Okay, or you can say cat ID I can put in this case. I'll put cat ID followed by here int. Now I need to link here a product with a category. So that's why we call this as foreign key. Whenever you create any product should have a category. Under that particular category only you have a product. So how do you link in this table? So cat ID you are going to be linking with the category table now. So cat ID have kept int. Now I write here constraint. Okay, fk followed by here prod cat ID. Okay, it is going to refer here references. What table it's going to reference here? It's going to reference here DDL category. Okay, so this is FK product cat ID. This is fine. I forgot actually here. I need to write this as foreign key. Which column in the given table? The column is going to be here in this case. What column we use here? Cat ID we have to use. Cat underscore ID. Then this is references TBL category. In this TBL category table, what column it has to refer? It has to refer the category ID. Okay, like this is called as here a foreign key. So using foreign key, you are going to link both the tables. You are going to link both the tables. Okay, suppose you are adding a product. In that case, it should be belonging to any one of the categories which are available in the store. First of all, you categorize the total categories you create. So under that categories only you create various products. Okay, so what is happening whenever you add any product, under what category this is falling, you are going to add. But due to some reason, a category is not added, some new product is came in the market. In such cases, you can put a null value for the cat ID in this case. That means what? A foreign key can be null, but if it is available, it should be one of the category ID values which are available in our table. So this way what you maintain, you are going to maintain referential integrity. You are going to maintain a referential integrity in this manner. So this is basically linking the category table. Okay, once again understand, you have few categories. Okay, so when you basically why you categorize that, you have some number of products. When you categorize, it's easy to manage things. So that's why you categorize. Okay, so products, they belong to one of the categories. Okay, but all of a sudden what happened in the market, a new product has come which is in great demand, but we don't have time to categorize that particular thing. So in such case, you add the product. At the same time, you are not going to include any category in that case. You can put a null value. That means what? The foreign key value can be null, or it can have a value, but if it's having some value, it should be in the category ID in the given category table. It can be any category ID value. You can add like that. Okay, but if you try to add other value which is not part of the category table, in that case, it's going to give error. So that is called as here referential integrity. Something like this you have here. One more example I try to give. You have here TBL department. Example you take. You have a TBL department. So in this you have few departments like 101 department, 102 department, 103 department. So 101, you can think it as here HR department. Second thing is what here? Admin department you have. One more thing is going to be here, finance department, like this you have. Okay, you have an employee. It is nothing but like TBL employee. You have an employee. So in this case, what happens? You may add an employee, something like here EMP 101 is nothing but employee code. Then followed by here, the employee can belong to either 101 or 102 or 103. Okay, or it can be null. Okay, but you cannot have a department which is here. Can you put 104 or 105? You cannot put that. So whenever you add an employee, the employee must be belonging to, in this case, a HR department or admin department or finance department. So if you try to put some 104, the department is not existing at all with us. So in such case, how can you add that employee to the department? This is basically called as referential integrity. We can call this as here referential integrity, so that you can maintain with the help of the primary key and foreign key relationships. So if you put null, that means what? You haven't allocated any department for the employee. An employee may be under training. I mean, that person is general category, must be under training actually. In such case, you don't allocate department. But once you allocate a department, it must be any one of the departments which are available in our TBL department. If you try to add 104, it's not accepted. So like this can be called as here foreign key. So here this is called as referential integrity. To maintain referential integrity, we can enforce foreign key constraint. Primary key constraint, why we impose? Whenever you go with primary key, in that case, what happens? First of all, for that column, you need to enter data, and whatever data you enter must not be duplicate data. That means in no other rows, the data should be available. So if you try to enter the data which is already in some other row, it is going to be giving error. It will not insert data. So like this, you have primary key and foreign key constraints for us. Okay, so here we have example is category table, product table, similarly a department table and employee table. Okay, you have few departments, 101, 102, 103. So the names are HR, admin, finance. You have an employee is EMP 101, that's nothing but employee code you think. So this employee can belong to either 101 or 102 or 103, or you may not allocate any department ID. But if you try to allocate some other department which is not existing with us, it is wrong actually. Because there is no department, how can you allocate the department? Okay, so this is basically called as a referential integrity. So when you link like these tables, if you try to enter here for in the TBL employee, for employee, if it is not available, department ID like 101, 102, 103, if it is available, it will accept. But if you try to enter 104, 105, 106, what it says, it gives error. So that is leading to here violation of the referential integrity. It is basically violation of the referential integrity. So therefore, to enforce such data integrity, we can link the tables. One is for primary key table, other one is foreign key table, and that also reduces in that case redundancy. Redundancy meaning is what? Same data, if you put in multiple tables, there can be a problem. Okay, for example, you take a student. When you take a student, at the time of admission, if you put data in one table, and for exam, if you put table data in the another table, and for fee collections, if you keep data in the other table, there can be confusion. For example, when you take admission, you put actually in that case one address, and examination for when you apply for examinations, if you put another address, and for fees collection another address, that can be leading to confusion. So, and same data may be getting repeated in more than one table. So therefore, such things are called as redundancy that you need to avoid always. So to avoid redundancy and to maintain referential integrity of the database, what we use primary key and foreign key relationships. Understood? Any questions on this? Okay. Next thing. Now let me come to the data types. So I have shown you how to create simple tables in that. Okay. Even I can insert some data and show you. In this case, let me insert some data, then you can understand more. Okay. So here I have a table category. Into that I want to insert data. Now to insert data, I have to go with this command, insert into syntax followed by DDL category. Okay, this is the syntax, insert into DDL category, followed by into whatever columns you want to insert data, you need to add there. You cannot add data into category ID because that is auto-generated, automatically it comes there. It is going to come automatically. And now I can go here with the cat name. And cat level for top level category, we need not enter cat level. By default, that's going to be 0. Even super cat ID also we don't enter because it's not required. It is going to be null only for the top level category. As I told just now, electronic items you take. So in the case of electronic items, category ID is automatically getting entered. Okay, we need to enter cat name. Cat level is going to be 0 only. That's the default value we specify there. And for super cat ID, there is no category above the root level category or electronic items. So therefore we don't enter anything in that case. Now here I come, then I try to enter here values followed by here electronic items. I put like this. Okay, electronic items. In this manner, I want to enter here data. So this is going to be now, I'm inserting some data into this particular thing. I just execute this. What happened here? One row added. Now, what data is available in this case? See here. Select followed by here star from TBL category. So what happens in such cases? It is going to show us all the columns. Okay, but in the first column, it will have 1. That means in the cat ID. In the second column, it says electronic items. And in the third column, it will have 0. And in the fourth column, it will have null value. Okay, so let me execute this here. So what it's showing for us in this case, category ID is 1, category name is going to be electronic items, and cat level is how much here for us? 0. Super cat ID is null, and remarks also we haven't entered anything in this case. So all these are going to be null. They are accepting actually null values. So what happened in this case? I entered only electronic items, but automatically 1 is coming and 0 is coming. So 1 is what here? Auto generated, and this cat level is what here? Default value. When you don't enter any value, automatically whatever we entered, it is coming. Today also we work with the default in the case of actually some function. We have defined a function. In that case, we are taking default value. So when you don't enter any value, automatically that is taken. So in the same manner, what is happening here, since we defined it as default, so it is automatically going to add that. So when you once again select and see, this is the data available to us. Okay, so category ID is 1, electronic items, then cat level 0, super cat ID is null, remarks is null. Now one more thing also we can add now. Category name. Now what I do here in this case, I want to enter here footwear. So I want to enter here footwear. So this is going to be another category I'm adding in this case. So now you have one more row. In this case, it is going to be having here like one category ID. So similarly 1, 2 you have. In the first case electronic items, the second case footwear you have. So both are at the same category level. Because above the footwear, you don't have any other category. Above the electronic items also, you don't have any category ID. So this is basically top level categories. Similarly, I want to go with the kitchenware like this here. Okay. So I go here with the kitchenware. I'll put like this here. Like this writing is correct or not, I don't know. Okay. So kitchenware I put here, then execute. In that case, it's going to add one more row for us. You have total 3 rows in this case. All the 3 are going to be here for us, top level categories only. All these are going to be top level categories for us. Okay, electronic items, footwear, kitchenware, all these are here top level categories. Now let us come to electronic items. Then in such cases, we'll try to add some other things. Okay, now what I do here, I can come into insert into DDL category, but this time it will not work like that. Okay, I'm going with the subcategory in such cases. I can take this as here category name. Next thing is what here, cat level also I need to put here. So we need to write a trigger with the help of that automatically that can be inserted. So cat level we take. One more thing is here what, super cat ID also required for us. Super cat ID here we need to put. Okay, then followed by here, if you want to put any remarks, you can add remarks. Remarks we put here. Then followed by here, you go with the values. So first of all, the list of columns we put, then followed by values. Into those columns, we are inserting the values in this case. Okay, under electronic items, I want to add a category. So this is called as here TV sets. I put it as here TV sets. Like this, I add. Then followed by, in this case, I need to go with the cat level. In this case, this is going to be 1 because this is coming under electronic items. And super cat ID, how much I can take in this case? I can take even this one as 1. Okay, so I can write this as, this is a subcategory under electronic items. Okay, like this, it is going to be getting added for us. So we are trying to insert. And whenever you enter numeric values, you can just put 1 only. But whenever you enter in a string, you need to write that in the single quote. You cannot put double quotes. You need to put the single quotes you have to put in that case, because this is a varchar type of data. It is nothing but string. So to insert string, what you require here single quotes like this. Now execute this. In this case, what happens? See. Okay, just select it and execute. Now what happened here? One more is inserted for us. Now if we go into select star from DDL category, what happens here? It is having in this manner. So TV sets basically come under which one? Under electronic items they are coming. Cat level is how much for this? It's going to be 1. Because above this one, you have a super category called as electronic items. And super cat ID is what for this? It is 1 here. Okay, you have 1 in this case. Okay, similarly, this is here. We have added something like this. Now I want to add a new category under kitchenware. Okay, so I put in this case this as here pressure cookers. Okay, so this is what here pressure cookers we have. For this, next thing is what cat level is going to be 1 only, but super cat ID cannot be 1 in that case, because this is coming under kitchenware. What is the category ID of the kitchenware? This is going to be 3. So therefore, we need to put this as 3 here. This is subcategory. Spelling is wrong earlier. Okay, subcategory under which one? This is kitchenware. Like this, you need to put here. It is here kitchenware. So like this, we are going to be adding it. Now execute this here. So in such cases, now this becomes part of actually, this is going to become part of the, this is kitchenware. So kitchenware ID is how much for us? 3. So this way what is happening? We have created 2 subcategories. Okay, one is for the electronic items, other one is for the kitchenware. Got this point here? So pressure cookers are going to be basically a subcategory for the kitchenware, whereas TV sets are a subcategory for the electronic items. So like this, you are going to be maintaining first of all categories. Okay, now using these categories, now you are going to insert data into products. We have a product table available for us. First of all, describe the product table. So here go with the DSC, then write here TBL product. Products or product, I think. So it is products. We take this and try to see here. It is not available. So it is, I think, TBL product only. So just go with this and try to see in this what columns are available for us. Haven't we created the table? So where this is got created, then in such cases, we have only one. Did not we create? Okay, we haven't created, sorry. We haven't created. So that I was showing on the Excel sheet only. In the Excel, just I was showing it, not here. So product table is not available. We'll create later on that one. But right now we added data into the category table. So this is category table. In this category table, you have cat ID, cat level, cat name, then followed by here super cat ID. Okay, by looking at this data, what you can say here, for example, you take the pressure cookers. So what is the super category of pressure cookers? In that case, what you say kitchenware, based on what exactly you can say based on this ID here. ID is how much here? 3. So what is the category ID of the pressure cooker for us? It is here 3, not pressure cooker, kitchenware. It's going to be 3 for us. So like this, we are linking tables. One table is getting linked with the another table. But this is called as here self-referencing table. Same table is getting linked in this case. So same table link also supported. So this way what we have done, we are linking the same table in this. So for this column is getting actually linked with the, which column that is? So the super cat ID is getting linked with the same table's category ID. Okay, so this is called as here referential integrity. You are maintaining in this manner data integrity in this manner. And one more thing is what you can avoid data redundancy. Okay, so here we define one table. The table is what here? TBL category, but here I think we haven't, we created the TBL product. We have created it. Then why it's not coming up in this case? Where that is added? Haven't we executed this? Let me execute once again. What will happen? See. Okay. So what happened here now? This is added. I go with the DSC command followed by TBL product. I put like this here. Then just try to see what are the columns available in this. So these are the columns available. Now I can add here a TV set into this. Okay. So I can here add in this manner. I can insert in this manner, insert into what I put here, TBL product. Okay, then here it is going to be having columns like product ID comes automatically. You require description. Next thing is price here. One more thing is going to be cat ID. So we put here description. Okay, next thing is what here? Price column also we do. Then followed by here cat ID. I can take like this. Then I need to go with the values. and I need to add here the values for me. So first thing is what here? Description. Okay. Sony Bravia TV. I put something like this, then 100-inch. I put in this manner. So this is the size of it, 100-inch TV. It is. I put in this manner. This is the description. Next thing is what I need to put price. So price may be something like 45,000. I put it. The price is going to be 45,000. Then followed by cat ID. So what cat ID I should give in this case? This should come under which one? TVs. So what is the ID for the TV? We need to see here in this case. Once again, select the category here in this case. What value we get for the TV? Let us see here. So for TV sets, this is going to be 4. Okay, it's going to be 4. Therefore, we put here 4 as the category ID. Then we can insert data here. I'm going to insert data. Now what happened here? Data has been added in this case. If you come and see here, select star from what I write here, DDL product. In such cases, you get the product data. Okay, one row I have added. So this is going to be available now in this case. It is showing here product ID 1, description, Sony Bravia TV 100-inch. Then price is 45,000. Cat ID is going to be 4. That means it belongs to which one? The TVs category. It's going to be TVs category. Like this, we select data in this manner. Now, same thing what I do here, I want to go with the LG TV 100-inch. I want to add here LG TV, but so LG, not TV actually, some LG laptop I take here. LG laptop. Okay, I want to put something like this here. The category which is not existing, I want to put here. What happens? See, I want to put some 10. In this case, it's going to give error for us because we don't have any 10 category. No category ID for 10 if you look in the category table. Okay, there is no category ID 10, up to 5 only we have. So when I try to enter here 10, it will not accept this, it gives error. Because this is now enforcing the referential integrity. What it's saying here? So cannot add or update a child row. Foreign key constraint is failing in this case. Because 10 is not existing, so therefore you cannot add this. So this is called as here referential integrity. You are unable to add 10 to that. So like this, you can be adding data into table rows. So this is here insert command. With the help of insert command, you are able to add data to the rows. Okay, so like this, you create tables. But further, before you do all those things, you need to know about the certain basics. First of all, types of data you have to know. What are the different types of data available in the MySQL? You have to know. Okay, like these are all going to be with the column. You can put only that particular type of data in the given column. So the types are going to be again, I launch some notepad. In this, I would like to show it. Okay, so first thing is what? As we know, numeric types. In this, there can be absolute and approximate again. So when you go with the absolute, it can be here tiny int. That is very small integer, which is going to be just 1 byte. When you go with the tiny int, this is just 1 byte space it occupies. Then you have small int. Small int is going to use, in this case, 2 bytes of space. Okay. Similarly, when you go with the int, this is going to use here 4 bytes of space. Okay. And one more thing you have here, big int, this is going to be using here 8 bytes of space. It's going to use here 8 bytes of space. Now, similarly, you have here float type of data. Float, why we use? This is for the floating point data. Okay. Similarly, you have here double type of data. Whenever you want to store here, again, this is also floating type of data. We'll be using here double type of data. In the same manner, you have one more type of data is called as decimal. So in such cases, you can store somewhat bigger numbers in the decimal. Okay. You have one more type of data is like Boolean. Bool, that is, bool meaning is nothing but a true false value you can save in this case. A true false value. So these are basically numeric types available. Tiny int, small int, big int. The next thing is what here? Float, double, decimal. These are for floating point data. Next thing is what here, bool. So to store Boolean values, we use it. Boolean meaning is what? Either true or false. Okay, so this is basically coming with the logic gates. In the electronics, it comes with the logic gates. You have actually 0 and 1. So who invented this kind of thing actually is by the George Boole. So I mean, to honor him, actually, this type the name is given to this type of data. This data type is given to one of the types to honor that person. His name actually is now assigned to that person. So this is basically bool, or sometimes we call it Boolean. So either they can store a true value or false value. So whenever you go with the bool type of data. Similarly, we have date as well as time type of data. Date you can save as well as time also you can be saving in that case. So this is called as here date as well as time type data. One more type of data is only just date you can save. Other one is going to be just only time you can save. Okay, either date or time, or you can say both date as well as time. So those you can be saving. Okay, one more thing is going to be here, timestamp you have. Okay, in the timestamp, you have both date as well as time. It's called as here timestamp. Okay, you have here timestamp. In this case, both date as well as time you can be saving. But in this case, you have actually certain range. Something like from 1970 to 2038 only, you can put data in the case of the timestamp. So when you go with the timestamp, it can be from 1970 to 2038. That is the range actually. But when you go with the date and time, you have actually bigger range in that case. So it is something like 11,002, you can have up to 9,999. So from 1000 BC to 9,999, you can save data in the case of date time. But when you go with the timestamp, in that case, it is from 1970 to 2038. So that is the range for date and timestamp. Similarly, we have string types of data. It is called as char. Next thing is here what? Varchar. We have one is char, other one is varchar. So char meaning is what? It's going to use always fixed size. Suppose you declare a column char with some 10, it's going to use 10 characters. Even if you enter one character, it's going to be using entire 10 bytes. So that's why it's called as char type of data. This is going to be fixed size. When you compare char with varchar, suppose varchar you declared as 100. If you are putting only 10 characters, it uses only 10 character space. It will not use rest of the 90 character space. So this is the difference between char and varchar. Char is fixed length, varchar is actually dynamic length. Depending on the data, it's going to use the size. Always you need to use either char followed by size, and varchar also you can use size. Similarly, we have here tiny text. You have text type of data. In one of the things in this is what here tiny text. So tiny text can be maximum up to 255 characters. So it is what here tiny text. Okay, so this can be maximum 255 characters. You can go with the text. In that case, this can be maximum up to 65 KB. 65,535 characters you can have in that case. Similarly, you have here one more type of data is called as medium text. So in that case, somewhat bigger size, up to some 16 million 777 characters you can have in that case. Then one more type of data is going to be long text. So in this case, you can store much bigger size. Okay, and one more thing is what you have binary type of data. Binary meaning is what? Text means always it's going to be like digits or alphabets, like ASCII you are going to save. But in the case of binary, it's not like that. Binary data is different from ASCII data. So in the case of binary data, for example, you have a number 255 that you can save in only 1 byte. The same 255, if you are saving like ASCII, how many you require? 3 bytes are required. For 2, 1 byte, for 5, another byte, for 1 more 5, you require 1 more byte. So 255, when you save like actually ASCII or text, it requires 3 bytes. Same 255, when you save like a number or like binary data, just 1 byte is sufficient. In 1 byte, you can fit actually 255. But same 255, if you try to save like text, what happens in that case? 2 is 1 character, 5 is another character, 5 is 1 more character. So for every character, we require 1 byte. So therefore, how many total bytes are required? 3 bytes are required. To save 255 as text, you require 3 bytes. But same 255, if you are saving like a binary number, in that case, just 1 byte is sufficient. So binary is going to be more compact. Okay. Similarly, one more type of data we have that is called as var binary. Okay, you have here var binary. So this is going to be again just like the varchar. This can be dynamic. So if you allocate some 1 lakh bytes, if you enter only say some 10,000 bytes, it's going to be only 10,000 bytes. Rest of the bytes will not be used. So like this, you have few data types. So with this, you can create the tables. Then after that, you can insert data into that. Then you can be manipulating. So this is just an introduction to the MySQL. Okay, so here to work with the MySQL, you require in such cases here, first of all, MySQL installed in your system. Second thing is you require MySQL client like command line client, or it can be one more thing is what here. This is a GUI client, graphical user interface. So with the help of that, you can be manipulating here database objects, creation of tables, okay, insertion of data into the table, updating data in the table, deleting data in the table. So those you can do. As a developer, you have to do these things. Okay, but as an end user, through, here the program is going to interact on behalf of you basically. You are a developer, you need to write the code, required code. Okay, then later on what happens, whenever somebody is actually using your application, so application has to interact with the database. Okay, as a developer, you may access all the resources you develop once. Then after that, what happens? You are going to integrate whatever you develop with the application. Through application only, you need to manipulate everything. It may be web application or desktop application, it can be anything. So through your application, you need to integrate that. So when you integrate, your application is going to work like a user only. Okay, so you can have basically 3 types of clients. One is what your application is a client. Okay, then you have a SQL command line client. One more thing is what here, a GUI client. So using these, you are going to be interacting with the database here. So MySQL, it is instance. In my system, it is SQL. How much it is? 80. It is installed in my system. Okay, to interact with that, I am using here 2 different clients. One is what? This is SQL, MySQL Workbench, or I can use the MySQL client. With any one of these 2, I can be accessing it. Okay, so any questions on this?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. Sanjana, you have any questions?
No, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. So similarly, Pratyusha, you have any questions?
Sir, in data types, float and decimal are different types or same?
Same there. Floating type, but size is going to be bigger. When you go with the decimal, more data you can accommodate. Okay, but when you take the decimal, when you take float or when you take double, they are somewhat smaller size when compared with the decimal.
Okay, sir.
Prashant, any questions you have?
No, sir.
Rahul, are you attending today?
Yeah, Sridhar.
Fine, then. So if you have any questions, even you can post. You have my email ID to that you can post. In the next session, we discuss more about this. But install this MySQL in your system, then practice. Because though you will be working with the front end mostly, but you need to connect to the back end. So for that purpose, minimum I am trying to cover for you. It's not actually much deeper. Minimum I am covering, but the basics you require. So if you know them, you can be even writing few things with the database part. Okay, like writing procedures, creating tables. If you have this knowledge, definitely you are not going to lose anything. Okay, so if you have this knowledge, definitely it's going to be useful. That's why I'm trying to cover for you. And in next session tomorrow, we'll be doing more with the database. You get more and more clarity. 1-2 times you go through again the same video, then try to, understand this. Okay. If you have any questions further in next session, we can discuss, but please interactive, try to pose more and more questions. Okay, try to ask more and more questions, please. Then it will be good. Okay, don't feel shy. There is nothing to feel like shy actually. If we don't know, we don't know, that's all. We are here for learning only. I also may learn so many things with you. This is a reality I'm saying. Okay, when you raise few questions, I may not be knowing things. In that case, I may learn, I may get an opportunity to learn those things. So that way, you try to ask questions more and more and try to understand it at the same time. Sometimes what happens, things may be very simple. Okay, so if you think for a while, you get yourself solution. Okay, think for a while. Then other thing is what? try to raise questions, please. But try to ask questions. I welcome your questions. Through email also, you can send it. If you have any doubts without any hesitation, please ask me. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We meet tomorrow.
Thank you, Sridhar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sridhar.